Alright guys, I'm going to try and do a more accurate update, finalization, whatever. In April, when I first went in to discuss possibly having a gastric sleeve, I weighed in at 340 pounds. This morning, I weighed in at 321, so that's a total loss of 19 pounds so far, and that's just with change of diet. Honestly, I haven't been exercising that much. I went back to the gym and then things have changed and I'm having surgery sooner than I thought I was, and I am not able to exercise. I'll get into that in a minute. There's a couple of people that have private messaged me and asked me specifically what my illnesses are and what this surgery, the gastric bypass, can possibly help with me. Again, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a registered nurse or anything like that. This is just what my specialists, and I now have 7 doctors. I have MS, obviously, multiple sclerosis. I have remitting relapsing. My multiple sclerosis is in the brain, so I have lesions within the brain. I stopped counting after 13, to be honest with you. I know that the doctor said that I've had a new lesion annually, roughly every year since then, so I'm probably close to 20 lesions in there. I am also now pre-diabetic, which was very hard to hear. I've also got obstructive sleep apnea, severe obstructed sleep apnea. I also have an issue with my stomach. It is formed differently at the bottom. It's very rare that that happens, but, you know, that's just me. And I have bile in my stomach that's coming up from my liver and that kind of stuff. Normally you have normal stomach juices. That's not what this is. That's not what this is about. This is about the actual bile from the liver coming up, which can lead to all kinds of nasty stuff. I also have Barrett's esophagus, which is non-cancerous right now. Excuse me, my throat has been sore today. It's non-cancerous right now, and it's highly recommended that I have the gastric bypass to prevent esophageal cancer. Once I have the bypass, about a year after that, they want to go back in and do another sample of my esophagus, and if that comes back negative again, I won't have to have another one done for 3 years. I also have severe arthritis in my neck and one of my knees. If anybody is watching that's back from school days, everybody knows one of my legs, I tore every ligament in my knee and sprained a bunch of stuff. I was playing football and bowling. I actually did it picking up a 6'10" split in bowling. I did get the pickup, but I ended up in ER all night. Anyways, that knee has severe arthritis in it now, and I also have thyroidism issues. My thyroid levels are finally stabilized, knock on some wood here. So there's a few other underlying issues, but I don't think they're as important as the ones that I just listed on what my illnesses and stuff are. So the gastric bypass obviously is going to help with my MS symptoms. It's going to prevent me from getting diabetes. And I think it's 75 or 80% of patients that have gastric bypass, they actually no longer have to have the CPAP machine. So I have a Fitbit. That also monitors my sleep and stuff, so I won't have to go in and do like a whole, you know, sleeping in the hospital type of stuff afterwards. And this will definitely, well, it's supposed to prevent the esophageal cancer, because with the RNY, the way that they connect the stomach later on down in the intestine for the stomach juices and the bile and that to go in to absorb your food. You can look up those videos on your own. I'm not going to go over all that. I'm not a doctor. Sorry, I'm not. But at any rate, the bile would have to travel like a long distance. I don't remember what he said, whether it was 15 inches or I don't know what it is. But the bile would have to literally travel a long way up to get into what's going to be left of my pouch to then go into my esophagus. So the likelihood of me getting the Barrett's esophagus with cancer and turning it into the esophageal cancer is significantly decreased and that kind of stuff. So I'm pretty excited. I felt bad a little bit because I know some people are waiting on the blue distinction still. My hospital has the blue distinction. They just don't have the, what's the word I'm looking for? The start date, I guess, when it's effective. The effective date, that's a better term. The effective date for it yet. So there's a lot of people, I think there were 6 or 7 of us that were waiting for that thought we would all be able to go through surgery together. However, with my surgeries, I've already had 2 surgeries this year. And all that, with all the surgeries that I've had already, the MRIs and doctor's appointments and specialists and so forth, I'm already at max. I have already maxed out everything, and thank God my husband has the top of the line Blue Cross Blue Shield plan through his work. So my hospital is now listed as in network, and because I've met everything, all of my deductibles, excuse me, my throat's really dry. I've been trying to drink a lot of water. Since I've met all of my deductibles and everything like that, I do not have to wait. As long as I get the surgery in before the end of the year, I'm basically covered pretty much at 100%. So that was super excited. I kind of feel bad about the other people that were waiting for the blue distinction and whatnot, but I've also called Blue Cross Blue Shield, like, you know, every week since April. I'm pretty sure they're glad to have me approved and going further so that I don't bug them all the time. But I don't have to pay any out of pocket except for the class. My particular program, there is a class that you have to go to. I think it's like 3 hours long, and my husband actually is taking the day off of work that day because I have a lot of stuff. On Halloween, I start my liquid diet, which non-caffeine, non-caffeine, non-sugary stuff, no juices and that. But I can have non-caffeine like coffee and teas, and obviously the protein shakes, and there's a couple of powders that are authorized. I'm hoping my chicken flavor gets here before I start, but we'll see because I just ordered it the other day, and it'll just depend on all that. Sugar-free Jell-O and that kind of stuff. The first couple of days is going to be really, really rough on me because of my MS. Well, not just because of that. I mean, it's going to be hard for anybody doing it. They get fatigued and headaches and stuff. But with my MS, it's going to make it a little more strenuous, a little more fatigued and that kind of stuff. So I can't work out or anything like that. Last week was the last week for me to work out. This week I'm just kind of taking it easy, making sure that my body is in the best condition it can be going into the liquid diet, and then since going in. So we'll see how that plays out. I'll probably do videos on that. But on the day of the class, I also have to go do PAT labs at the hospital. And then I also am going to see the ambulatory, I think that's the title, the pharmacist, the pharmacy lady that I had spoke to before about all of my medications, and just to make sure that we're all on the same page. My husband is going to be able to be there for this one as well, because again, he took that whole day off for me. So that, and I think it's really important, if you have a significant other and you're going to go through this and they're going to be responsible for taking care of you after you come home, they need to know what you can and can't have. They need to know, well, what medicines do they have, you know? Just my opinion, but I highly recommend that. So that day is going to be a big full day. I'm still going to be on liquids. My surgery is scheduled for November 14th, which is a Tuesday. And as far as my MS medications and so forth, I will be taking my shot on Friday. I get flu-like symptoms for 24 to 48 hours, sometimes with fevers. they want me to make sure that I have 3 solid days after having the shot before I go into surgery, to prevent any possible fevers and that, because if I'm running a fever, they obviously they can't do the surgery. So I'm going to make sure that I take my shot on Friday so that I have the Avonex within my system, because the week of surgery, the week of the 14th, I will not have an Avonex shot. My prescription is 1 per week, 1 every 7 days, basically. So I will not be having a shot on the week of surgery, and depending on how things go, as long as, you know, my MS doesn't act up and stuff like that, if I am feeling super bad and if my stuff is acting up, you know, or excuse me, I don't have a flare-up, which is possible with surgery, any surgery that an MS patient has. I'm told, you know, especially, you know, my case, which is in the brain, because the chemicals that they give you to knock you out and that kind of stuff also, you know, affect the chemicals in your brain. There's a possibility that one of my previous symptoms flares up. It's remitting, relapsing, remitting. So one of those could come back. If nothing comes back, it's possible that I can skip another shot, so that, you know, instead of maybe taking it the Thursday after, normally I take my shots on Fridays, or excuse me, Sundays, so that I have all weekend with my family and stuff. And then Monday I'm usually kind of just, you know, kicking it, reading a book or taking naps, and that kind of thing. So it'll end up being, more than likely, it'll be like, I'll be going like 12 days or something like that, without a shot. But again, that's been pre-approved with my neurologist and my my care team, you know, my doctors and all that kind of stuff. But I'm happy that the pharmacist is going to go over everything with me one more time, because I have an issue reading pre and post-op. I thought post-op was pre, and it wasn't. And so I thought they wanted me to stop taking my vitamins before surgery, which did not make any sense to me. Because MS patients, it's, in my case anyways, I shouldn't say all MS patients, but studies are out there that do show that vitamin D levels help MS patients significantly. So I don't know if there's anybody that's not true for, that I shouldn't assume, I guess. Vitamin D levels have to be really, really high. They want me to be close to 100 going into surgery, because the first week out of surgery, I won't have any vitamins. The pharmacist, the lady that we're going to see on the 7th, she told me that I'm to continue my vitamin D though, and I did have to get a liquid form of vitamin D. And even if I do like half a dropper and then half a dropper later, or, you know, however that has to go, when I get home, she has authorized me, and I'm going to double check on the 7th to make sure that that's true. Right now, I'm having a hard time with this goal numbers for weight loss. You know, I understand that there's no such thing as large bone or small bone. It's frame is the correct terminology for it. And you can measure your wrist bones, and some people measure their elbow to figure it out. I'm not sure if I'm a medium frame or a large frame, which kind of, you know, makes a difference with the BMI schedules on where your weight should be at the end of this. But I know that 221 this morning, I'm going to start PMSing. I'm going to gain a couple pounds with that, and that's going to be during the liquid diet. How fun is that? But I'm hoping pre-surgery weight's going to be around 307. That's like my goal for getting down to 307. That's just my personal, I'd like to get there before going into surgery. If I get lower than that, that's awesome. Obviously, I'm not going to say, oh, I can't have it. So, and I'm hoping to be down to 270 pounds by the time we go to Vegas in January, which will be just shy of 2 months out after surgery. And I know that, you know, 40 pounds, most people use between, I think it's 15 to 20 pounds with gastric bypass. I know on the sleeve, I think it's 10 pounds a month they think that you should average. So going in at 307, and then, you know, 2 months later, hoping to be down 47 pounds, roughly 30 pounds. Well, no, it'd be 37, excuse me. I can do math today. Anyways, I have short-term goals. I got a new app that's called Model My Diet. And granted, the little characters don't look exactly like you, but it gives you a good indication of what you can look like at different weights and stuff like that. I printed out one of these, so where I start and where I think I will look good at. So right now, my target weight, my husband thinks I'll be in around 190. But honestly, I think 170, I'm going to look sexy as F. So my dream weight is going to be 170. However, the doctors are thinking that I should get closer to 150. But yeah, my muscle mass, I redid the test again, and my muscle mass is 150 right now. With my bones, organs, and muscles, it's 150 pounds. So my brain can't wrap around the fact of being just bone and organs and muscle. But that's just me. I don't know. I've been overweight my whole life to some degree. So anyways, that's an update. I am going to get my measurement stats and all that stuff pre-surgery. I'm going to do it pre-liquid diet the night before I start the liquid diet, and then the night before I go into the hospital, we'll do the weights and all that kind of stuff. And I'll probably try and get one of my kids to help me, because I'm not very good with these video things, but do before pictures and then like have a little segment of my stats from where I started at, because I have those measurements as well back in April, and you know, pre-liquid diet and that. So hopefully things will go well, and I'm hoping that even though I think next week is gonna suck donkey balls really bad, part of me has hope that it won't, and that I'll be all right with it and it won't be that bad. But I'm pretty sure the liquid diet for the first few days is gonna suck. But I'm making sure that all my laundry and stuff is done. Everything is done in the house that needs to be done, because, you know, those couple of weeks I'm going to be really low on energy with the liquid diet, especially with MS. You know, I already have fatigue anyways with MS. So in the first 4 to 5 days, your body thinks that you're still going to get those carbohydrates and the sugars that it's been using for energy, to turn into energy. So day 5, day 6 is when it should start to kick into my body that, oh, I'm not going to get this crap, so I need to start eating the fat, burning the fat for energy. That's the correct terminology. So then my body will start burning the fat that I already have stored, which is quite a bit. So we'll see how it all plays out, and I'll try and do little videos or updates or whatnot. If I do a video during the first week and I sound like a total bitch, yeah, it's because it's gonna suck. All right, guys, have a good day.